Hi, everyone, and welcome to Presentation Skills and Professionalism. This is week 10, by the way. This is Adam Navarro, and I apologize that I couldn't meet with you all in person. I am currently in Atlanta, Georgia, filming some promotional material for Campus Wire. So very soon you might see me up on their website or whatever they're going to do with that content. Anyways, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia right now, and it's a little digression here, but the Hyatt here is probably one of the worst hotels I've ever stayed at. The Wi-Fi is terrible. That's why we're doing this asynchronously. The key card doesn't work half the time. The iron just threw up all over all my clothes. Terrible. So stay away from the Hyatt here. Anyways, like I mentioned, the Wi-Fi sucks. So that's why we couldn't hold this class live. Instead, hopefully you're watching this recording and that will prepare you for your final assignment, which is the special occasion speech. Now, we will not be able to listen to any of these speeches live. Like I said, this is your final class. The only thing that you got to do is submit your link to your pre-recorded video by the deadline posted up on Campus Wire. I can't remember what it is, but I think it might be a week from today. Some assignments, we allow you to submit things late. This one, it's finals next week. We're not going to be able to take any late submissions, so you have to get it in by the deadline, for better or for worse. Okay. All right. Once you see how I'm grading you on this assignment, you're going to wish that you just did it. So please make the decision to do it. Okay, so let's go talk about the special occasion speech. Like I said, for better or for worse, you're probably going to have to do one of these speeches at least one point in your lifetime. You may never have to do a persuasive speech or an informative speech, maybe never ever again, but you're probably going to do one of these speeches, whether you like it or not. Maybe you've already done one of these speeches before. So the great thing about it is that you can do the exact same speech that you gave before. Maybe you did a eulogy or something, and you can come in and give the same speech, and I'll never know the difference. But these special occasion speeches, they're going to be monumental events in these people's lives. So you really want to think about and consider how you can make these moments as poetic as possible. All speeches need a few things. They need a hook right from the beginning, right? We really have to find a way to get the audience's attention really within the first few seconds that you're speaking to them. Special occasion speeches should also have a nice soft landing conclusion where everything is wrapped up into a neat little bow and there's no confusion about whether or not the speech is ended. It should have a sentimental moment, but it also should kind of have a funny moment. And unfortunately, many of the special occasion speeches that I've seen in my life, they don't have all of those components. So again, I really want you to think of yourselves as artists for this assignment. I want you to think of yourselves as poets. And I want you to try to give me something that I've never seen before. All we're going to be doing for this final class is we're going to watch the 4 different types of speeches that you can do for this assignment. We're going to take my grading criteria to a few of them, and then I want you to try to guess what type of grade you think I would give them based off of my rubric. Okay, so your assignment is to choose one of the 4 speeches that I'm about to show to you, and then you're going to pick one of them, record it, submit it, get that 10% of your grade. Okay, so let's watch the first one. If I can get my slides up here. So the first one that you can do is accepting an award. And we're going to watch Hilary Swank accept an award for Million Dollar Baby.
The Oscar goes to Hilary Swank. $1 million baby.
This is the second Academy Award for Hilary Swank, who took home her first Oscar for her leading role in Boys Don't Cry. She's also the first female in Academy history to be nominated for playing a boxer.
I don't know what I did in this life to deserve all this. I'm just a girl from a trailer park who had a dream. I never thought this would ever happen, let alone be nominated, and a working actor for that matter, and now this. I thank the Academy. I am eternally grateful for this great honor. I would also like to acknowledge my fellow nominees, Annette, Emilda, Kate, and Catalina. Your work inspires me beyond words. I am going to start by thanking my husband because I'd like to think I learned from past mistakes. Chad, you're my everything. Thank you for your support. It means the world. I would never be standing here if it weren't for each and every one of the brilliant people I had surrounding me, supporting me, and believing in me. Tom Rosenberg, Gary Lucchese, thank you for sending me this most marvelous script. You will never know how grateful I am. Paul Haggis for writing this beautiful script. Our other producers extraordinaire, Al Ruddy, Clint, Rob Lorenz, Phyllis Huffman, our casting director, my trainers, Grant Roberts and Hector Roca. You pushed me further than I ever thought I could push myself, up to that last pound, actually to that last ounce. I thank you. My sparring partners who were so patient, and everyone at Gleason's. Let's see, well, the ever amazing Morgan Freeman. Tom Stern, our cinematographer, you are brilliant. Joel Cox, our editor, you're amazing. I'm gonna thank my mom for believing in me from the beginning, my dad for his support, my agents, Josh Lieberman, Tony Lip, Kelly Tiffin, John Campisi, Jason Weinberg, my manager. You can't do that because I haven't gotten to Clint yet. I saved him for the end. Carl Austin, Jeff Bernstein, my lawyers, and then Clint Eastwood, thank you for allowing me to go on this journey with you. Thank you for believing in me. You're my Makushla. Thank you. Alan Horn and Warner Brothers as well, thank you. And you know what? Wait! Troy Nankin! Troy Nankin, my best friend and publicist! Thank you!
Okay, so that's Hilary Swank. Here's my grading criteria. To yourself, do you think that she accepted the award graciously? I think she did a pretty good job, right? So she would get points for me there. Also, did she give credit to other people? Definitely, right? Maybe a little bit too much. They tried to play her off twice, right? The reason why she said she would like to learn from past mistakes is because in this moment, this is the second time she won the Academy Award. And the first time she won the Academy Award, she forgot to thank her husband. They're divorced now, by the way. I don't know if it had anything to do with that, but I think that she just made sure I'm going to thank everybody so she doesn't have to read about herself in The Hollywood Reporter. So it seemed a little bit overkill, I know, but she wanted to make sure she got all her bases covered. Now, humble but no false modesty. That just means, does she seem fake? I don't think so, right? She seemed humble enough. But she isn't Oscar-winning actress, right? She's a two-time Oscar-winning actress in this moment, so she could be acting, but she seemed humble enough, at least. Where I don't know if you've ever observed someone like Jimmy Fallon, by the way, or Anne Hathaway. To me, sometimes they come off a little bit fake, but that's just my personal opinion. She gave good eye contact. I would give her credit for that, and she did seem pretty enthusiastic. So I probably would have docked points for time. I would maybe give her a high B. Pretty good speech. We're going to watch another example of an accepting an award speech. This is one of my favorites, and this is Jamie Foxx. Same award show.
And the Oscar goes to Jamie Foxx and Ray.
This is the first Academy Award and second nomination for Jamie Foxx. He's the 10th person to be nominated in both acting categories in the same year.
I guess we got to do it again. Yeah, you're ready. That's to Ray Charles. Give it up for Ray Charles and his beautiful legacy. And thank you, Ray Charles, for living. I got so many people to thank tonight, and first I'm gonna start it out with Taylor Hackford. Taylor, you took a chance, man. I mean, that love for Ray Charles was deep down in the earth somewhere, and you opened it up, and it's cracked open, and it's spilling, and everybody is drowning in this love. And I thank you for taking a chance on this film, and thank you for waiting 15 years to get me to do it. I want to thank you. I want to thank Crusader. I want to thank my agents. I want to thank Rick Kurtzman. I want to thank Kim Hodgett. I want to thank Steve Smoot. I want to thank my managers, Jamie King and Marcus King. Let's live this African American dream. It's beautiful. I'm glad I'm with you, and I ain't never leaving you. So I love you. I got a chance to meet a whole lot of people experiencing this, and other people I want to thank my sister, 4'11", of nothing but pure love. I want to thank my daughter for telling me just before I got up here, if you don't win, Dad, you're still good. I just see Oprah and I see Hallie. I just want to say your names. I want to talk to you later, both of you. Because Oprah allowed me to meet somebody by the name of Sidney Poitier. And yes, Sidney Poitier said, I saw you once, and I looked in your eyes and there was a connection. And he says, I give to you responsibility. So I'm taking that responsibility tonight. And thank you, Sidney. This is probably going to be the toughest part of this speech. My daughter shares my grandmother's name, Marie. My grandmother's name is Estelle Marie Talley. And she's not here tonight, and this is going to be the toughest part, but she was my first acting teacher. She told me, stand up straight, put your shoulders back, act like you got some sense. We would go places, and I would wild out, and she says, act like you've been somewhere. And then when I would act a fool, she would beat me. She would whoop me. And she could get an Oscar for the way she whooped me because she was great at it. And after she whipped me, she would talk to me and tell me why she whipped me. Said, I want you to be a Southern gentleman. And she still talks to me now. Only now she talks to me in my dreams. And I can't wait to go to sleep tonight because we got a lot to talk about. I love you.
Oh, love that speech because he has that great call and response at the beginning, right? He's got that great attention getter. So he's got the whole audience engaged right out of the gate. He also has that great sentimental story about his grandmother at the end. He's super funny, right? He also has this great ability just to stay present and improvising, riffing by calling out Halle Berry and Oprah. So one of my all-time favorite speeches. Probably seen it 1,000 times. Still makes me cry. Anyways, here is my grading criteria. Do you think Jamie Foxx accepted the award graciously? Absolutely. Did he give credit to other people? Yeah, enough. Not as much as Hilary Swank, but I think that was kind of a benefit, right? He seemed humble, at least in this moment. I feel like Jamie Foxx outside of this moment tends to get a little bit cocky, but maybe Jamie Foxx has a right to be a little bit cocky because he can sing, dance, act. I feel like his cockiness now is more self-deprecating than ever, but in this moment, seemed pretty humble to me. Thought he could give a little bit better eye contact, but he was crying. I'll forgive him. And he seemed pretty enthusiastic, so I'd give him an A. Absolutely. Now, the second type of speech that you can do is, if I get my slides to work, is giving an award. By the way, one thing that I forgot to mention is that these speeches can be totally made up, okay? They don't have to be real. I've seen this done in a lot of creative ways. Sometimes someone gave a eulogy to the death of hip hop music. Another person in this class gave a eulogy to the death of their childhood. One person gave a eulogy to me. To be honest with you, that made me feel a little bit uncomfortable. Please don't put me into your speech for better or for worse. It just makes me feel awkward. I had someone give an award to their dog, right? And they brought their dog in. They gave an award to their dad. Okay, it was a couple in the class, right? And I'm not sure if I should share this story, but he wanted to give an award to his girlfriend for having the best butt. And then she came up and accepted the award for having the best butt. And it was kind of cute. You got to trust me, it was work. So it doesn't have to be real. Okay, you can make it up. Okay. So, anyways, the second type of speech that you can do is giving an award. And we're not going to grade these two characters here. I'm just going to play you one of them. We're going to watch Christiana Amanpour, and she does some pretty good things in this speech that I'd like you to steal if you choose to give an award to anyone.
Amira monitors power by following the lives of average people caught in its machinations, and she's on the ground listening and collecting their testimonies. And as I said, she's often providing the material for those of us who don't know the story as well, or who sometimes are not able to go where she goes, to be able to follow her leads. She writes what the Palestinian journalists think about their country's leadership, but dare not say themselves. She writes what she thinks citizens of Israel should know about their leadership, but do not want to hear. Some call her a traitor. It is uncomfortable to hear the truth. It's very uncomfortable to tell the truth. Some say that she is the only voice of truth in a polarized conflict. For 20 years, she's paid no attention to either of these camps, choosing instead to follow her own path. Amira knows what Irina just said, that dictators do not like journalists, but more than that, democracies often don't like journalists either.
So that's all we saw from the speech, but that's Christiane Amanpour, and she's giving an award to a woman named Amira Haas at the International Women's Media Foundation. And she does some good things in here that I'd like you to steal if you choose to give an award to someone. The first thing that she does really well is she keeps her speech audience centered. In this moment, she's talking to a room full of journalists and was trying to highlight one of the most important aspects of being a good journalist, which is the ability to look at things objectively, to give the pros and the cons to an argument so the audience can make a decision for themselves what they want to do about this thing, right? Second thing she does really well is she builds Amira Haas up, right? Not a lot of people know who Amira Haas was. So the audience needs a reminder as to why she's a significant person. And she highlighted that Amira Haas was a journalist in Israel. And as you know, if you read about what's going on in the news, it's a very tough time to be a journalist in Israel right now. And she's talking about how brave she is for doing her reporting, right? The most important thing that Amira Haas does in this speech, which I'd like you to do, is keep yourself out of it. Christiane Amanpour is a big deal in the journalism world. She's won Emmy Awards, Peabody Awards, right? She's interviewed presidents. She's still being on talk shows to this day. She didn't talk about herself at all in the speech because in this moment, she knows it's not about her. It's about Amira Haas, the person getting the award. So if you want to give an award to anyone, focus on the person getting the award, not on yourself. Okay. We're going to skip Jim Carrey's speech. Anyways, yeah, that's the second type of speech that you can do. The third type of speech that you can do is a toast. I'm going to show you a clip from the movie Rachel Getting Married. And I know I was kind of talking trash on Anne Hathaway earlier, but I do think she's an amazing actress. This is one of her earlier films.
I'm so grateful to be your bridesmaid and be a part of this moment. And don't look at me like that.
Hello. Relax, it's Seltzer. Hello. I'm Shiva the Destroyer and your Harbinger of Doom for this evening. I would like to thank you all for coming and welcome you, even though I haven't seen most of you since my latest stretch in the big house. But you all look fabulous. So during the 20 minutes or so that I was not in the hole for making a shiv out of my toothbrush, I actually did participate in the infamous 12-step program. 12 steps. Step will change, step will change. Still waiting for the change part. So, but you know, as they say, that relapse is an almost always inevitable part of recovery. So I get high marks in that mode. Anywho, well, as more of you know than are likely to admit, one of the steps, actual steps, is about making amends. So I did a lot of apologizing to people, some of whom barely remembered me, most of whom barely remembered anything. And I apologized for, like bouncing a check or passing out in their bathtub or flooding their house. And, just basically for involving them in sordid activities that they were desperately trying to forget. I had to call this one girl who was, I think 14, but yeah, she couldn't come to the phone actually because her mom had taken out a restraining order, but but anyway, so I spent a lot of time. The point is, I spent a lot of time apologizing to people who were pretty much perfect strangers. So I would very much like to take this opportunity to not only congratulate my extraordinary sister, the future explorer in matters of the mind, thank you very much, and her adorable impending husband on the occasion of their unprecedented nuptials, but also to apologize to said extraordinary sister, future explorer in matters of the mind, for what? I don't know. Everything. And I really mean that, Rach. I've been a nightmare, you've been a saint, and I'm really just so damn glad to be here with you and Sydney's family and our family and just everyone's together, and it's really great. It's just, so I am hereby raising my seltzer to my laudatory sister and herewith making amends. Sydney, you are robbing our dysfunctional family of one of its most vital ingredients, and its only member still willing to lend me money. So, boo on you. Anyway, enjoy Hawaii. Lahaya!
All right, so that is an example of one of those improvised speeches, which I've seen a lot, where she doesn't seem like a bad person, right? She seems like a good person. She wants to genuinely express the meaning of this relationship with her sister, but then just seems to get lost in her own baggage and her own drama. Again, it's one of the reasons why, if you ever talk to anyone who officiates weddings, they always say, can you please ask the person to focus the speech on the people around you and not on themselves, right? Because you saw the bride's nonverbal in that clip, right? She didn't seem too happy in that moment. Think about the things that you think the wedding party in that video, what we're going to say about Anne Hathaway when they're in their car on their way home, right? It probably was pretty cringy, and you don't want that to be you. So, do you think that Anne Hathaway focused on any positive attributes or characteristics of her sister? Kind of at the end, she said that she is willing to give her money. So, she's generous. That's a positive quality, but that was about it. Mostly it was focused on her. I didn't really hear any personal stories or anecdotes about her sister. I don't remember seeing any vivid or memorable image of her sister in that story. She did give great eye contact to the entire audience, so I'll give her points for that. And it didn't seem very enthusiastic to me. It seemed a little bit sarcastic. So I would probably give Anne Hathaway a D. Now, Toasts are great opportunities to be funny in public. If you're a funny person, this is your moment to shine. But you do have to consider the appropriateness of the situation. You have to consider your audience. Very quick story. When my brother got married, he couldn't decide who he wanted to have be his best man. It's me, his older brother, and I think he felt obligated to make me his best man because I'm his older brother. But he's also got his best friend Jordan, right? So he's like, it's my wedding. I have two best man, so two best man speeches. So his best friend's name is Jordan. And Jordan is terrified of public speaking, and he knows that I teach presentation skills. So he's like, can I please not follow you? Because you're a public speaking teacher, you're probably going to rock it. Then I have to come up after you and try to give a speech. So can I go before you? And I said, sure. And he even showed me a transcript of what he planned on saying. And I said, it's pretty good. I just think you need to rehearse it a little bit, right? So he's like, I got it. Anyways, don't know if you ever been to a wedding party, but people tend to meet a little bit earlier and the open bar is there. People are celebrating a lot earlier, right? So as soon as I get into the hotel, everyone's doing shots, right? And I'm like, I'm good, right? I'm gonna wait. I'm a lightweight. I'm gonna wait until after the speech and then I'm gonna drink, but not now. So anyways, Jordan, he's doing shots, right? It's an open bar right before we come in. So he has like two Manhattans. So Jordan, he's hammered by the time he has to give the speech. Now, my sister-in-law is Filipino. If you know anything about Filipinos, they're like mostly Catholic, right? So my sister-in-law, it's like 100 Catholics in there. And Jordan comes up and he starts using a bunch of profanity, just like inappropriately, just like as vocal fillers. Every other word was F this, F that, right? So there's already this awkwardness in the room just because of that. He talked about how much better he was than my brother. And I think the goal was to roast Tom in a way, my brother, but because he was drunk and nervous, it just came out as aggressive. You know what I mean? Most awkward moment, which was now funny in retrospect, is he talked about what we did at the bachelor party. I'm not going to get into it too much, but we went to Vegas. We do what guys do with bachelor parties in Vegas. Use your imagination. And then I was in this awkward moment of trying to figure out a joke to tell to like ease the tension in the room. So be careful because the best man speech isn't just about you and your best friend who's hopefully getting married. It's about the other people in the room, right? There's family members there. There's older people there. Might be more conservative people there. And there's also children there sometimes. So learn your lesson. Don't drink. Don't smoke weed before you give your speech. You're going to feel great. It's not going to be great. I promise you. All right. Now, the final type of speech that you can give is a eulogy. This is the type of speech that you would give at a funeral. We're going to watch Oprah give a eulogy to Rosa Parks.
To Reverend Braxton, family, friends, admirers, and this amazing choir. I feel it an honor to be here, to come and say a final goodbye. I grew up in the South, and Rosa Parks was a hero to me long before I recognized and understood the power and impact that her life embodied. I remember my father telling me about this colored woman who had refused to give up her seat. And in my child's mind, I thought she must be really big. I thought she must be at least 100 feet tall. I imagined her being stalwart and strong and carrying a shield to hold back the white folks. And then I grew up and had the esteemed honor of meeting her, and wasn't that a surprise? Here was this petite, almost delicate lady who was the personification of grace and goodness. And I thanked her then. I said, thank you for myself and for every colored girl, every colored boy who didn't have heroes who were celebrated. I thanked her then. And after our first meeting, I realized that God uses good people to do great things. And I'm here today to say a final thank you, Sister Rosa, for being a great woman who used your life to serve us all. That day that you refused to give up your seat on the bus, you, Sister Rosa, changed the trajectory of my life and the lives of so many other people in the world. I would not be standing here today, nor standing where I stand every day, had she not chosen to sit down. I know that. I know that. I know that. I know that, and I honor that. Had she not chosen to say, we shall not be moved. So I thank you again, Sister Rosa, for not only confronting the one white man whose seat you took, not only confronting the bus driver, not only for confronting the law, but for confronting history. A history that for 400 years said that you were not even worthy of a glance. Certainly no consideration. I thank you for not moving. And in that moment when you resolved to stay in that seat, you reclaimed your humanity and you gave us all back a piece of our own. I thank you for that. I thank you for acting without concern. I often thought about what that took, knowing the climate of the times and what could have happened to you, what it took to stay seated. You acted without concern for yourself and made life better for us all. We shall not be moved. I marvel at your will. I celebrate your strength to this day. And I am forever grateful, Sister Rosa, for your courage, your conviction. I owe you to succeed. I will not be moved.
Great speech. So, I think Oprah pointed out what was significant about Rosa Parks, for sure. And she also attempted to comfort the group. How? Pointing out why that person was a positive influence is a great way to comfort the group, because oftentimes during eulogies, people are so focused on how sad it is they are that they end up just crying the entire time. Now, it's okay to have those moments where you express that sadness and that sorrow. But if the sorrow overwhelms the speech, then you're going to see nothing but wet eyes and wet cheeks in the audience, right? So I want you to think of your responsibility as a speaker, if you choose to give a eulogy to anyone, is to lift the audience up out of that moment and to think about how that person was a positive influence. And it could just be that maybe they volunteered their time to certain organizations, or maybe they just made cookies, every once in a while for their organization that they worked for. Then the audience will go from focusing on their pain to celebrating the person's life. And in my experience, the most memorable eulogies, the ones that really stick with me, are the ones that celebrate the person's life. All right. I think she made Rosa Parks seem memorable. She did seem sorrowful and regretful. And I don't know. I think Oprah could rehearse just a little bit more. But Oprah doesn't care what I think. But I give her a B. Anyways, we're going to watch Bindi Irwin. This is the crocodile hunter's daughter, if you remember him.
Daddy was my hero. He was always there for me when I needed him. He listened to me and taught me so many things, but most of all, he was fun. I know that Daddy had an important job. He was working to change the world so everyone would love wildlife like he did. He built a hospital to help animals, and he bought lots of land to give animals a safe place to live. He took me and my brother and my mum with him all the time. We filmed together, caught crocodiles together, and loved being in the bush together. I don't want Daddy's passion to ever end. I want to help endangered wildlife just like he did. I had the best daddy in the whole world, and I will miss him every day. When I see a crocodile, I will always think of him, and I know that Daddy made this zoo so everyone could come and learn to love all the animals. Daddy made this place his whole life. Now it's our turn to help Daddy. Thank you.
I'd probably give her an F. I mean, she read the entire time, right? I didn't see any eye contact. I'm kidding. Okay. I would not give a 7-year-old girl an F for a eulogy to her father. In fact, I cried when I saw this speech. And the reason why I really loved it is not only because I thought she was super brave, but also because she talked about her father's legacy, right? She wants people to carry on his legacy of wildlife conservation. And she does practice what she preaches to this day. Also on Dancing with the Stars, by the way, if you're a fan of that. Anyways, one thing that I forgot to mention before um, I show this guy is that this is still an assignment. Okay. Sometimes people want to do a eulogy about someone who has recently passed away. And if you want to do a eulogy on someone who has actually passed away, you can, but you still have to be able to get through the speech. I had one student who wanted to give a speech about her dead dog. She came up and she spoke for about 20 to 30 seconds. She then cried for a minute and then said, "I'm sorry, I gotta sit down." And I'm like, well, great. Now what am I supposed to do? Sorry about your dead dog, F. Seemed really harsh, you know? So if you want to give a eulogy to someone who's actually passed away, you still have to be able to get through it. All right. Don't be this guy. This is funny. You got to look closely because if you don't pay attention, then you might miss it. But in the center is the picture of the deceased. So he's doing an interpretive dance eulogy. Oh, and he's still going. Still going. Okay, so I know I said I wanted you all to think creatively for this assignment. Don't be this guy. I mean, what was he doing? It's crazy, right? You can't just dance up here and expect to get credit for it. It's an assignment. So for this particular assignment, I want you to be very familiar with it. In fact, I prefer it to be memorized. It's only 2 to 3 minutes long, so you could do it. And the best special occasion speeches that I've seen are memorized. 5 by 7 note cards are not required. They're optional. By the way, there's no outline required for this. I want to see those beautiful eyes, right? In a virtual environment, eye contact means camera lens contact. Appropriate enthusiasm and passion would be good for this assignment. And volume just means I got to be able to hear you. Appropriate depth just means that you don't have to turn anything in for this assignment besides the recording. But generally, for me, a page of single spaced type text at my rate of speech equals about 2 to 3 minutes. That might change for you depending on how fast or slow you speak, but generally, if you got a page of single spaced type text, that equals about 2 to 3 minutes. Organization just means that I have to follow you, and again, you have to meet the 2 to 3 minute time frame. It's a short speech, and again, it's worth 10% of your grade. And if I haven't said this before, I'll say it again. Once you see how I'm grading you, you're going to wish that you just did it, so please do it. Okay, I'm just going to close out my slides here. And the final thing that I want to say is first, thank you all for being a great class. I think I mentioned on my first day of class that I ended up getting a B in my presentation styles course. And it wasn't because the course was all that hard, right? We basically did the same amount of work that you did for this class. But I just had a whole lot of crazy things going on in my life at that time, right? I was working a full-time job. I was taking a full load of units, and I was just in my 20s trying to enjoy my youth, right? So I had every intention of getting an A, but that semester it just didn't happen. And I know that some of you out there have every intention or had every intention of getting an A, but you got crazy things going on in your life. I know some of you are parents, right? It's the end of the year. It's kind of a stressful time for a lot of us. Um, Ultimately, it doesn't really matter what kind of grade you get because not a lot of people cared about what my GPA was outside of college. The thing that they wanted to see is, can I demonstrate what it is I learned, right? Can I show that I'm good at public speaking? And honestly, the feedback that we give you sometimes is just one person's opinion, okay? Or in this case, it could be Vivian and and Zoe's opinion too. But we're just, a few people. And what's more important is the audience's collective opinion about what they think of you. And honestly, you shouldn't really care about what other people think of you because that's not anything that you can control. The only thing that you can control is how hard you work. The only reason why I've developed a career out of this is not because I'm gifted at it, because I make a lot of public speaking mistakes, right? I stutter all the time. But the only reason why I've made a career out of this is because I'm willing to work hard at it. So if you do the hard work, it will pay off. Again, thank you for being an amazing class. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.